Thank you, Serene and Kimberly, and all the students who play a part in this. Let me offer my thanks to all of them and also to the sponsors, including colleagues from Micron, for your support of this program. As Serene mentioned, tomorrow will be the 153rd birthday of Marie Curie. And as you know, she was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and also the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 different fields, one in chemistry and one in physics. It is particularly significant this year because the chemistry prize this year went to 2 women, Emmanuelle Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna, for their pioneering discovery of CRISPR-Cas9. And last year for what they call genetic tweezers. And last year, the physics prize went to Donna Strickland from Canada for the optical tweezers. So one of the things that we are finally beginning to see is the emergence of recognition for outstanding contributions in major international forums. In this year's case, fairly early, about 8 to 9 years after the discovery, which is remarkable speed by Nobel Prize standards. I want to talk about the context of women in science from 2 different angles. Obviously, we are all wearing masks, and as Serene mentioned, this has been an extremely unusual year. And one of the many things that COVID has taught us is the disparity and the disconnect in global society. We have inequalities of different kinds. We have income inequality, we have digital inequality, inequality of opportunities, gender inequality, racial inequality, and so forth. And many of those inequalities, which were recognized for a long period of time, came to the surface. And those kinds of inequalities during the time of COVID also meant, for some people, it meant the difference between life and death, because they did not have equality of access to healthcare as well. And so at a time like this, with the sensitivity that COVID has given us, it is equally important to think about this topic in a much grander, much bigger, and broader global societal context. And of course, women in science is a particular part of that grand conversation that the global community needs to have. The second point I want to make, going from global to local, just earlier this week, all the academic leaders and administrative leaders at NTU, several dozens of us, we've been working during COVID, working with the deans, the colleges, the schools, and various units to synthesize and put together our vision for NTU over the next 5 years. And there are several themes that emerge. I won't go into all of them, how to bold initiatives that will move the university in different directions. But let me just highlight 2 things that pertain to the theme of this particular meeting. Serene mentioned about interdisciplinarity. And interdisciplinary research no longer is confined between, again, looking at it in the broadest sense of relevance to NTU, especially for young NTU students making an impact on the global society. You can view this in many different ways. Interdisciplinarity, of course, in the academic sense, means collaboration or intersection between 2 different disciplines, disparate disciplines. And increasingly, that includes humanities, arts, and social sciences, along with natural sciences, engineering, and medicine. Interdisciplinarity also means something different. Academia, industry, government, nonprofits coming together. to address issues of interest and relevance to society. And that's another form of interdisciplinarity. Yet another form of interdisciplinarity can be defined with respect to innovation. Again, I go back to research studies that have been done in the past all over the world, some of which were sponsored by an organization I used to work for about 10 years ago. The studies show that if you take any particular problem, a very complex problem that you want to solve, you put a homogeneous group of people to work on that problem, versus you take the same problem and put a heterogeneous group of people to work on that problem, you end up with much more innovative solutions when you have a heterogeneous group than you have a homogeneous group. It doesn't matter which homogeneous group you're talking about. It could be all men or all women or all of a particular nationality or geographic location, etc. So from that point of view, as a university, as an academic institution, there is a lot that NTU can do. So what we have done in our NTU 2025 vision is to include specifically a number of items that address two aspects of the theme of this meeting. One is how to foster interdisciplinarity in the broadest way in which we have defined, but equally diversity in the broadest way, but especially paying attention to gender diversity in specific fields in academia and its consequences for role models and its consequences for impact and talent attraction and retention. And one of the other things that COVID has shown us is that traditional ways of thinking how work should be done have been completely upended. And in this particular case, technology has shown that adoption can be much, much faster than we thought was possible. So given that, moving forward in the post-COVID world, hopefully we'll reach that point very soon. We are not there yet, and we don't know what the end point is. Hopefully we reach that point. How do we make sure that the NTU of 5 years from now addresses these issues in ways in which we may not have had the opportunity or a perspective pre-COVID to try to address? And it's not just with respect to COVID, it's just with respect to a whole range of societal issues and talent attraction and so forth. So from all of those perspectives, I'm really delighted that this conference today, or this gathering is taking place. And we have 5 speakers representing different parts of campus who will participate in this, including social sciences and College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. And I look forward to working with the group that has come together under Women fEST to see how we can elevate the themes of interest to this meeting to the attention of all the people at NTU. And it cannot be just top-down. It has to be organic in the DNA of the institution. And I want to thank, in particular, Sirin and Kimberly for the leadership in this and for all your efforts, and all those who are involved in organizing this.